Hello.
Are you the host or I am the host?
I am your host, so please have a seat.
Thank you. You're very kind. How are
You're
you?
welcome. I'm fine, thank you very much. I
Lovely.
hope you're prepared for my questions.
Yes, I will try to be. Hopefully, I'll do well.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, I have a few questions for you,
Okay.
and I would really appreciate if I get lots and lots of clarity about it.
Lots and lots of clarity.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so my first question is this. So as a young graduate, I actually graduated from school early. Not like other people though, but it was quite early. And funny enough, I'm the firstborn. Like I'm the first child in my house.
Wow.
So there's this lot and lot of expectations from my family, my friends, and even the society at large. So I want to know, is there how do I manage these expectations? Because most of them are not really falling in line with my goals and things I want to do for this period of time, like for this set of time before the next
How old
phase.
were you when you graduated?
I graduated at the age of 22, so I'll be 23 this year.
Fantastic. Okay, so external expectations are natural. They're expected. Because if people love you, they will expect something from you. They will expect you to do well. They will expect you to succeed. They will expect you to chart the course. They will expect you to lead the way for your other siblings. So naturally, your parents, your siblings, your relatives will expect something from you. However, expectations from our loved ones are they are essential, but they are also very dangerous. Dangerous in the sense that they could mount unhealthy pressure on us. You know, I did a lecture recently on being a success, and I said that success, in my definition, is attaining a desired goal within a reasonable time that aligns you with purpose. And the reason why I began that definition with a desired goal is because many of us define success by achieving expected goals
Okay.
and not desired goals. So many times we tailor our lives to the expectations of other people. So if your dad was a medical doctor, he expects you to be a medical doctor. If your mom had always dreamt to be a nurse and she couldn't be a nurse, she will hope that one of her children will become what she couldn't become. So all of that expectation, however good intended they may be, can put pressure on you to the extent that it deviates you from your destiny. So you end up becoming the expectations of your loved one. And then if you take that route, at the age of 50 or 60, you wake up one morning and you start looking for yourself. Because you left yourself when you were 18, when you embraced the expectations of everybody else except for your desires. And like I've said before, many times God speaks to us through our desires. One of the ways to find your purpose is to understand the language of your passion. One of the ways to understand your passion is to know what you love or what you hate, right?
Yes, sir.
And many times the feeling you have towards what you love or what you hate may be God's way of pushing you towards alignment with your purpose. Okay? Of course, the other way that you've heard me teach before is finding the problem you're wired to solve. Now, you could find the problem you're wired to solve, find the passion that provokes you in anger or provokes you with excitement, and you will leave all of that because mommy and daddy really wanted me to be a singer. And it could even be friends. You know, all of your friends are becoming fashion designers, so you feel a need to become a fashion designer. So you need to be careful how you embrace expectations, but bear in mind that they are essential, number one. Number two, they are natural. It's only natural that I will have expectations for you if I care for you. So it's needed also. Because if nobody expects anything from you, that is like they don't think you are worth anything.
Wow.
Right? So it's logical that if we think you are worth something, we will have expectations. When you buy a car that is worth something, you have expectations of the performance of the car. When you buy a phone that is worth something, you have expectations of the performance of the phone. Am I correct?
You're correct.
If you don't have any expectation of the phone you bought, it means you have no value or sense of value for the phone you bought. Right?
That's true.
So if people expect things from you, it's only because they have some measure of value for you.
Okay.
I'm saying that number one, to have people expect things of you and of your future is essential. Number two, it's natural. But number three, it's very dangerous. So you need to be able to filter people's expectations and determine which of them is worthy of your time. Because you can't actually dump all the expectations. You must honor some of them. Okay. Like your mom wants to be married at 25 or 22 or 23. You may not marry at the age they want you to, but you try to show them some kind of involvement that you are giving marriage some thoughts. Right. You can't say, it's my life. You can't tell me when I'll get married. Please leave me alone. When you not finally get married, they will not have expectations as to when you take in for your first child. I see how the pressure, I see the ripple of pressure. Yes. Then, after a lot of pressure, because sometimes pressure even delays pregnancy. But let's even assume that you're able to battle over the pressure. And you become pregnant. Then do not say, I hope it's a boy, So the expectations will never end.
That's true.
You'll not give birth to the boy or the girl. I hope he or she will look like me, I hope you'll give me 2 other or 3 other grandchildren. You see? So the expectations never end. So you need to now filter through them and determine which of them is worthy of your time. And then even the ones that you feel is a distraction, you find a way to respectfully respond to their pressure. Okay. But know that expectations are essential, but at the same time, they are dangerous.
Expectations are essential, and at the same time, they are dangerous.
Yes, and you have to find a way to create a buffer in your mind that quiets the noise of expectations. You must create an internal buffer in your mind, in yourself. Because as you grow in life, even as you succeed in life, the more you succeed, the more they demand on you for success. Yeah, so especially if you're the decent child, they tend to focus more on decent children than the ones that are not as decent. So it's like they reward you for your good doings with more demand for good doings. So one of the ways to counter that is to create an internal buffer. You may not even respond to the expectations, but it gives you sleepless nights.
That's true.
And that's very dangerous. The only way to combat that sleepless night or that internal pressure that you feel is to create an internal buffer that quiets the noise of the expectations. So no matter how much your loved ones call you to express the expectations, you must find a way to internally shut that noise down so that you don't go to bed, go to work with that nagging thought that I need to get this done to make them happy. Okay. You need to find fulfillment more than you pursue people's expectations or some sense of making people proud. You need to first find that internal sense of fulfillment above the drive and the passion of making everybody proud. Because you may make everybody proud at the expense of your fulfillment.
Wow. Yeah. So I could actually make everybody proud and I'm not proud of myself.
Exactly. And you will be lost. See, when God came to the Garden of Eden, he asked a very timeless question. He asked Adam, where are you? Where are you? And many times we need to sit down and ask ourselves, where am I? Because many of us, we don't know.
That's true.
We have become like everybody else but us. We have gone everywhere else but where we are meant to be. That we can even answer a simple question of, where are you? Where are you with your life? Where are you with your goals? Where are you with your marriage? Where are you with your dreams? We can't tell because we have been pursuing everybody's dreams. So you need to be able to answer the question that God asked Adam. Adam, where are you? So every now and then, you need to find yourself.
Find myself.
You see that now? Yes. And you can't always find yourself if you are becoming everything that we want you to be, except the thing that you're meant to be. Does that make any sense?
Yes, okay. It is. Just this one question, and I'm already satisfied to some extent.
Yeah. Oh yes. But it's a major problem that many young people face in our time because we live in a very knitted, integrated society, especially because of the internet, and social media. So there are many noises out there, people indirectly or directly telling you what you should become, and there's that compelling force to shape your life, fashion your life to the expectations of the society. in the way that you see it expressed on the internet. So even without someone coming to you directly to say you've got to do this, when you scroll through social media for like 1 hour or 30 minutes, you're already seeing expectations expressed and induced.
Yes, pressured.
Pressure, a lot of pressure, and it's a very deadly pressure. The pressure makes you almost, number one, ignorant of what you have. Number two, it makes you unsatisfied with what you were once grateful for.
That's true.
You just bought a phone that you stayed for 6 months to buy. You were so happy about it until you saw your friend posting a
iPhone
new
11.
phone. All right. And then suddenly you become completely ungrateful for what you just prayed for 3 months ago. And that is a lost life. Anybody who is shaped by such a construct cannot answer the question that God asked Adam, where are you? Because you have been driven by the expectations that everybody is showing in your face. And if you can't create that buffer internally and you become a wife, a mother, it makes your life even more complex. Because you're not having to shape your life, shape your husband's life, shape your home, shape your children to still match up with all that noise. So imagine the damage it does to you, try to do it just to yourself. So it's dangerous, and I promise you that majority of people in our time are trapped in this corruption. So I'm happy it's your first question. So let's attempt the second one.
Okay.
If you're okay with this, are you okay with this?
No, yes, I actually got lot and lot of clarity. Like I asked earlier that I needed lot and lot of clarity.
Yes, okay.
So I really appreciate for that.
Okay.
So the second question is this. I learned from you that in business, no matter how small it is, one should build structure, and the importance of structure can actually not be overemphasized in business, either small or big businesses. So my question is, please, could you actually expatiate on the necessity and importance of structure in business, both small, large scale, small scale business?
Yeah, so I recall that we were on set doing an episode on business growth, and I did talk about structure, and you were on the set. And when we're done with the shoot of that lecture, you now ask the question off camera to say that, and I think eventually we did put it in the video. Yeah, but you did ask that, how about the need for structure for those who are running like a one-man business? You're just starting a business. How do you incorporate the concept of structure into the business, even just a small scale one-man business? And I said to you, that is where structure finds its beauty, in the cradle, in the actual cradle. So it's when you begin a thing that the thing requires even more structure, because structure by nature is a culture. Okay. Can I say that again?
Yes.
Structure by nature is a culture. And culture, we have defined before, is a way of life. So when you say something is a way of life, it means that there's a repetition of action. There's a consistency in the application of a method. And one of the ways to achieve that is when you are beginning, when the risk of failing in the experiment does not have big consequences.
Okay.
Because there's going to be failings in every venture. There will be measures of failing. Even as a wife, a husband, a child, there'll be failings. When you have a child, the child is trying to walk, he or she keeps falling, because to achieve the success of walking, there'll be many fallings, right? In same way, before any business can walk, it will fall many times. Before any marriage can walk and run, it will fall many times. Before any academic career can walk properly and run properly, it may fall many times. So failing is part of the requirement for success.
Okay.
So it's best that if failing is essential and failing is almost inevitable, it means that we must learn to fail with minimum consequence. Is that making sense?
Learning to fail with minimum consequence.
Yes, because you must fail. Would you rather fail with 1,000 or fail with 10 million?
1,000.
You see my point now?
Yes, sir.
Would you rather build discipline as a single girl or build discipline as a wife?
As a single girl.
Oh, this is so powerful. You know that A woman who is not disciplined as a wife did not attain that error in marriage.
That's true.
The error began as a single girl. She couldn't keep her legs closed as a single girl. And now she's married and she's struggling keeping her legs closed. The difference is that if she made a mistake as a single girl, the damage is less than making a mistake as a married woman. So would you say that she should begin building a structure for marriage, in marriage, or before marriage?
Before marriage.
Why? Because the consequence of any failing is way less in your attempt to build that structure as a single lady than in your attempt to build that structure as a married woman. You don't wait to be a father to prepare to be a father.
That's true.
The same way you don't wait to be a wife to prepare to be a wife. You begin to build a structure for being a wife while you are single. So if you want to build a corporation, build the structure of the corporation while you are a nobody.
Okay.
Learn to give accounts while you are alone. Give account to yourself. Create a system of record keeping while you had no one to account to. Because if you don't do that with the 2,000 naira you're investing in your small business, when it becomes 2 million, you are at greater risk. So failing is a must. So it's best that we begin to fail. So imagine now that I don't attempt to walk when I was 6 months or 8 months old. You know, when you fall, when you are 1 year, you are close to the ground. You know, a toddler is close to the ground.
Yes.
So when they fall, they don't have many injuries.
Damage.
Imagine for a second that you fell as many times as you did when you were 1 year old. Now, you will be full of scars everywhere.
That's true.
Because now you are way above the ground. You are bigger in size.
The impact
you have
is
more weight.
more.
The impact is more. But as a child, he is very light and he's very close to the ground. So when he falls, there's almost no impact on his body because that's the best time to fall. And that's how we build structure. You build structure at the infant stage of anything.
Okay.
So if you're starting a small business, that's the best time to cultivate culture. If you say, I will do a job in 3 days, make it a culture and it's part of your structure that I will deliver that job in 2 days. I told the man 3 days, but part of my culture is I will deliver the job always a day before the agreed time. It is a culture that now becomes a structure. If we have a job for 40,000 naira, I want to know exactly how much I spent to execute the job. Was it 29,500? Was it 35,200? Was it plus the phone call I made on that job? I want to know. They gave me clue to sew. I charge a woman 40,000 naira. How much did I buy the material? What did I spend on airtime? How much did everything that it cost me to sew that dress, I want to know. I keep the record. So, and I can tell that I made 4,800 profit on that job. It's a culture that will become a structure.
Culture that will become a structure.
So now you are not tracking your running cost, your cost of production. You cannot tell your profit. So when you now want to rent a shop, you cannot take a very productive decision, knowing that for the past 2 years of doing this business, from the tracking of my account, I can tell that I've made only 300,000 naira actually in profit. So that shop that I really like, that is for 500,000 naira, is beyond my budget. So either I find a smaller shop or I wait 2 more years.
Okay.
So structure educates you. Number 2, structure makes the future predictable. Because once you get the rhythm from your structure, you can predict your outcome.
Okay.
You see my point?
Yes.
Yes. And if you truly want to go far, like if you want to build a structure, a house that is going 2 floors, there's a number of pillars it requires. If you want to go 20 floors, there are a number of pillars and kinds of pillars required. Because it's those pillars that carries the future of the building. It may be the most beautiful building, but if there's no structure, it will collapse. Many of us have designed and built many beautiful businesses, beautiful families, but there's no structure. It's bound to collapse. Just give it time. Once a small wind blows, and the wind will blow, it will collapse. So the reason why you need structure is because there will be crises. There will be storms. There will be winds. There will be conditions that are external to you, that are beyond your control. what helps you to cushion the effect of all of those factors is the kind of structure you have. And the best time to build a structure, like I said, is in the cradle, in the beginning. So cultivate the culture and let the culture form your structure. Because the structure will not carry the future of the business or the future of anything. So from the little things, keeping your records. If you're showing up at a space to work, create a time. I work between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. at night. I work between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. When I worked alone as a single architect in our company, I worked like I was working for like 20 bosses. Yes. In fact, I was so brutal. My time of work was I was so on point. And I was working from my bedroom. And when I tell you I'll give you your design in 4 days, I will ensure that no matter what, it gets you in 3 days. It was a culture. And then when I was given small projects to do, I kept records. But sometimes I had losses. And I would sit down to estimate my losses. To say, okay, I lost 500K here. How will I make that money back? How will I pay the project back the money? Because it's already, I can't go back to the man to say, I didn't give you the right estimation for your job. So I will find how to fill that gap. And in doing so, it helped me to build structure. And now we own businesses in cities where I don't live. And I just simply apply the structure system to those businesses. And I can be in Abuja and still have businesses in other cities that are running successfully.
Wow.
So is that clear?
Yes, so clear.
Do you need more clarity?
This is enough.
Yeah. So structure in our home, even the time that our kids go to bed is structured.
That's true.
My wife ensured that. From when they were small, all our children left our room at 1 year. It's a constant. There's no mommy's boy, daddy's boy. There's nothing like that. Once you are 1 year, bam, you must move out of our room to your room. You know what I'm saying? So even if they were breastfeeding, I will not win them. By 1 year, bam, you move out. It's structured. It's not up for discussion anymore. And structure saves you time. Because structure is decisions pre-made. If you know you're going to brush every morning when you wake up, do you think about it? When I wake up, will I brush today? Will I use my toothbrush? Will I use chewing stick? Do you think about that every morning? It's already structured. It's already built into your culture, your daily culture, that you wake up in the morning, you brush, you take a shower. You know, it's already built into your culture. So it helps you save time. Yeah. So structures are inevitable for any kind of business, tiny, medium, or big.
Wow.
Yeah.
This clarity is becoming too much. All right, so I will quickly go to my next question. Okay. We've actually understood that tithing is 10% of your income. So I'm actually going to tithing aspects now. So I'm actually curious to know, there's some persons will tell you that you have to pay your tithe, maybe you get your profits, or maybe you get your money. Let me put it that way. You have to pay your tithe first before doing anything. And I'm trying to, let me use this instance. Let's say you're working for a company and your pay is 50,000 naira. Then maybe what and what you spend.
Yeah. Go on.
What and what you spend in that month is basically, let's say, 30,000 naira. So we'll say your profit is 20,000 naira. So will I have to pay tithe of the 50,000 naira first, or after removing all my expenses before paying
so
tithe?
Anyway, so I mean, man. So I know that the construct of being my host is to answer any kind of question, but but I wish to God that this wasn't part of the question you brought up today, because it's a very sensitive question, all right, that has all manner of views from different people, all right, and there are many discussions around tithing and the need to tithe, how to tithe, and all that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you what I do. Is that okay?
It's okay.
So as to if you should pay your tithe before your expenses or after your expenses, because in the real sense of it. So let me just give some foundational explanations to my fundamental belief. And I'll tell you what I still do in spite of that belief system. So let's say I put in 10 million to build this, or build a house, or build a business, 10 million. And in the first 1 month, I made 200,000 naira. Let's say to run the business after spending all the expenses, paying workers, buying diesel, paying for light units and all of that. I now have 200,000 naira in my account. Would you call that a profit?
No.
You see that now? Now, so in the actual sense, you can't call that a profit. Because if I kept making that kind of money, which is very good money, from a 10 million naira investment, and I'm making 200K every month, that's fantastic money. You know what I'm saying? Because that's about 2% revenue.
Yes.
You know, but if I put all that in a year, it will come to somewhere around 2.4 million. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Bear in mind that it's possible that that investment may require me to renew my rent of 500K by end of the year. So even though I made 2.4 million, it means that 500K will go back to my rent. It will not drop to 1.9 million. So that 1.9, do you think I've made profit?
No.
Because my actual investment is 10 million
10
there.
million.
So until I've recouped my 10 million, in the actual sense, I've not made profit.
Profits. That's true.
But many of us, like myself, I would usually give still a tithe from the 200K every month. But if you go by the principle of tithing, if it's meant to come from monies you've truly made, you can't say that I should pay tithe until I've recouped that 10 million back. Because take, for example, that I borrowed that 10 million from you. It means that we need about 5 years to pay you back that 10 million naira. Am I correct?
Yes.
So imagine that I have a timeline for which that money must be paid. As long as I have not paid you that money, I don't have a business yet. So if you look at it critically, it's when I have broken even in my investment that I can say I have made profit. It's when I have made back 10 million plus in profit that I've truly made. And many businesses will require 5 to 10 years to achieve that. But many of us still give our tithe on those monthly profiting. So, you see what I'm saying now? So if I'm going by that understanding and I have that kind of investment, I shouldn't be paying any tithe for like 5 years until I've recouped back the 10 million naira. Because even if it was my money, I may have paid tithe on the money from which I made the 10 million naira.
Yes, that's true.
So if I put the 10 million naira into a different business, that business must yield its own profit before it's qualified to pay tithe. And it's not qualified to pay tithe until it has made over 10 million in profits. What we are calling profit, but there's no profit really until you have secured the 10 million, then you say you have broken even. Yeah? So that can be applied to your salary. Because there's a cost to run the business. And like every business, before we declare that we have made profit, if, let's say I made 700,000 naira as my turnover, I will need to pay salaries, I will need to pay rent, I will need to buy diesel. Then is whatever is left that we call profit. So in the same way, if you made 50,000 in salary, there must be a running cost, an operational cost for doing that job. And that operational cost of doing the job is the 30K you just said. So in the actual sense, what you are meant to pay tithe on is a 20K that is left. Because if I give you a job now to buy me this, and the contract is 50,000 naira, and I give you 50,000 to help me buy this, will you pay a tithe of 50,000? But because the cost price of buying this, let's say, is 30,000 naira. So, but the contract is 50,000. But the cost of buying the item is 30,000. Which means that your profit is 20,000. So if I give you 50,000, would you tithe on the 50,000?
No, I won't.
You would tithe
on the 20,000
because there's a cost of doing the job. So once you're on a job, on employment, there's a cost of doing the job. And that's your transport. That's your feeding. You have to carry that cost out first. Then whatever is left is what you should tithe on.
Okay.
So back to me. So you see, I just gave this as a fundamental understanding that I have. However, when I pay my tithe, or what I call my tithe, I pay as I believe. I want to pay on a personal decision level, not by all of these principles. I just give from a place of love. Not because I'm waiting to receive 10-fold, 20-fold harvest. I just give because I love God. You know what I'm saying? And so I may not apply this all the time. That's number one. Number two is that Hey, this is a very strong saying. Producer, should I say it? I don't give my tithe to what you and I will call my local church.
Okay.
I give my tithe to where my tithe is needed. And many times I focus on churches that are in rural areas. Because a lot of churches in the cities, they are flying first class. And some of them are flying private jets. They are okay. There are those in the villages that are looking for 2 million naira to do a crusade. They don't have it. They're trying to buy a new speaker for 500,000. They don't have it. Their bus they use for missionary outing needs 70,000 to fix. They don't have it. See that now? So I focus my giving both in tithe and offering to churches and ministries and the work of God in areas that are really needed. I have friends who are doing great work in rural areas. They may live in a city, but the core of their work in ministry is in rural areas. I focus there. I still give to ministries in the city, in urban areas, don't get me wrong. But I'm saying that I don't say because I worship in church A, all my tithe goes there. No. In fact, they may not even get a tithe of my tithe. You know what I'm saying? I give most of it to churches. Yeah. Thankfully, my spiritual father is in a rural area. So that makes it even easier for my life. So I prefer to give to ministries and mission works that really need the money, whether you're in the city or you're in the villages. If you're in the city and I see the work you're doing and I see that, there's a need for cash, true, genuine need for cash, I will give my tithe in that direction. Because that's the work of tithe, is to put food into God's house, is to keep God's house running. And some of the ministries in town, they're already doing beyond, they are building skyscrapers, they are,
They're putting a lot of food in God's house.
They have excess food in God's house, they are flying private jets, they are very okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying that while other people are giving to them to have their excess, let some of us focus on the rural areas. That's my own lifestyle. And it mustn't be your lifestyle. Yes. That's my own conviction. So I still give to many urban churches, but I focus more on God's work in rural areas. Yeah.
All right, so this could actually have a part B.
Okay.
Well, I'm actually trying to check our time.
We have less than 10 minutes. Yeah, no, but go on. Let's hear it. Let's hear the part B.
Okay, so the part B is, some people say they don't pay their tithe to churches, and they actually use their tithe for goodwill, like giving to maybe people on the road, giving to less privileged. So would you say that is also tithing, or I think that should also be something different from what you?
Yeah, I think that's a different kind of giving. I do that as well. Even I do that on a personal level. We do that in the foundation. We do all kinds of giving to widows and random givings on the street and all that. But that should be a different kind of giving. If you ask my opinion about that, that should be, like you call it, it's a goodwill giving. It's giving to the poor. And God has an assigned blessing for that. He said that those who give to the poor, they lend to the Lord. So when you give to the poor, you are borrowing God money. You know what I'm saying? And God never owes and doesn't pay.
That's true.
So that's a different kind of giving. So I don't practice that. I don't say because I do. We spend millions and millions every year in our foundation. Millions. But I don't classify that under my tithe.
Right.
I don't. Yeah. So, but let's say a church in the village needs to build a house, or build a church, or buy speakers, or buy bikes, or buy something. I can offer to cover the cost of that need, of that building, of that equipment from my tithe. But it goes to the work of God in the ministry. You know what I'm saying, right? Yes. So even if a pastor, let's say, has a house need, and the family needs to pay school fees for their children, I would rather give to that, to the church. I say, pay the school fees of this pastor's children. But if I'm doing random giving, like widows outreaches and other outreaches, it's not from my tithe. So for me, it would be outside the tithe, in my opinion. Yeah.
Right, that's clear enough too.
Okay. So let's try and take one more question.
Okay, so
we have 5 more minutes.
I have to skip the number 4 and go to number 5.
Let's see, I want to get the number 4 still anyways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 4, I'm actually curious. How did you start?
Hey. We don't have time for that. So maybe you can be my host again, then we can answer questions. So
let's love that.
Let's attempt number 5.
Okay, so number 5, it's actually a personal question. Yes, so actually in the past, I used to be very intentional about relationship with people, like my friendship with people. And but as time went on, I came to understand that most of the time I feel used. Like people tend to use my goodwill against me. Sometimes you end up having issues with people because you actually helped in ways you could actually help. And due to that form of betrayal over and over again, I've actually, well, I kind of like lost my person. I just kind of like lost my person. So over time, I noticed that. Okay, so over time, I got to notice because when some attitude change about you, it takes some time for you to understand that you've actually stopped doing this thing. So over time, I got to notice that I've stopped being intentional about people. I've stopped being intentional about friends.
What do you mean by being intentional about friends?
Like, okay, for example, let's say I have a friend. I'm always eager to know what's wrong. I'm always eager to help out in ways, even if I don't have. I'm always eager to assist in little ways I can over time. But of
You've
recent,
withdrawn.
I've withdrawn. So is there a way I could actually, let's say, because I actually miss that person that I was. I actually miss helping. I actually miss lending to friends. I could actually do it to other people, but people close to me, I noticed that I stopped doing it to them. So is there a way I can actually
Because the ones who are
withdraw?
not close to you, you can make demands for whatever you've loaned to them, for example. You can create easy boundaries because they are distant, so you don't feel that empathy. You don't feel that guilt when you create boundaries around them because they are distant from you. The ones who are closer to you, you feel guilty when you try to create boundaries, and then they make you feel guilty sometimes when you try to at least do something for yourself. They make you look like you have no right to be good to yourself. You must be good to us. And so when you said that you now realize people were using you, I think the real word you meant to use is people were abusing you. Because there's nothing wrong with people using you. My analysis of that, and I would do that teaching when I'm teaching on management, is that if people don't use you, you are useless. So people must use you. The same way you use other people. I mean, I'm using it right now because you are my host. You see that now?
That's
You're also
true.
using me because I'm your guest.
Yes,
All
that's
right?
true.
We're using each other. So you can't really run away from people using you. I can't run away from you using people. It is required because when something has value, it will have use. You use your phone, use your tablet, use your shoes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's of value. So when something is of value, you will end up using it. The real problem is abusing it. If I use my spoon to scrub my leg, is that usage?
That's abuse.
That's an abuse because I'm using it wrongly.
Wrongly.
You see? But the spoon has a use. The spoon is useful, but I'm using it in the wrong way. And many times that's what we do to our friends. We abuse them. We maluse them. We ill-use them. And when people do that to you, you feel that sense of abuse. That's what you feel. It's like, so in the African language, you say, he likes to use people. But what we actually mean to say is that he likes to abuse people. Because again, if something needs to work for 5 hours and you make it work for 50 hours, what do you call it?
Abuse.
Exactly. So when you overwork something, it's an abuse. When you use it wrongly, it's an abuse. And we do that to our loved ones. And they do it to us. So the problem that you're having now is that you have friends who have taken advantage of your kindness. And they are now abusing your kindness. Because they are using it wrongly. They are using it too long. They are overstretching it. So they are abusing your kindness. The risk of that, again, is back to our number one discussion, is that if you submit your emotion to these people that abuse you, you will end up losing yourself. And then depriving yourself of being your real you, because you want to be kind to those you love. And I know I had somebody else on being my host, Damilola, and I said to her that you need to learn to calibrate relationships. One of the things that my wife and I have had to suffer is what you just explained. We've had too many people abuse us. And I used to tell my wife, I said, let's not allow them change us. Because it's painful. It's painful when you're being abused. And one of the risks of that is what you're facing, which we have faced also many times every single day, is there's a risk of trying to stop being you. And do I want to give somebody else that much power to stop me from being me? You see what I'm saying? So the only way to create the balance is to apply more wisdom in dispensing my kindness. So I would say to you, don't stop being kind. Just find a way of applying more wisdom in dispensing your kindness. And you see, the same way they will say that just went to hide to pray or to do something. At that point, he did those things, is that he put himself first in that moment. Because if he's not alive, he can't help other people. If he doesn't go and have that quiet time to pray, to study, to rest, he can't be useful. So sometimes think about yourself. Give yourself some thoughts. If you feel you are giving too much, put a pause to it. There are times that I get home so exhausted, and some very, very important people and people that I really, really love will call me. I can see their call, but I won't pick it. I say, I've outspent myself
For the day.
for the day. And I probably just sat down to listen to a music or to watch a movie, just try to feel like a human being for the whole day. And then the call comes in. In that very moment, I just shut down. You know what I'm saying? Because at some point, I must give some thought to myself. When you overstretch yourself, you put everybody else at risk, including yourself. So take note of those who tend to abuse you and abuse your kindness and calibrate them. Find a way to apply more wisdom and build the ability to tell them no. Tell them no. Or no, don't tell all no. I've learned to tell no to some specific people. There's someone that has been trying to get back into my life, for whom I've been there for her for many, many years. And it took a lot of courage, but I've stood my ground that the answer to all her requests is no. And even when my wife came to beg me on the matter, I said, look, I have the right as an adult to at least say no to some things. It's not being unkind. At least there's a reason why there's a word called no. Let me use it, right? And it's a way of protecting my heart to sustain the original me that I am, so I can be able to replicate that kindness to other people that I love. So you must apply wisdom in saying no to those that you have found to abuse you, but open your heart to other people that still merit your kindness.
Wow. I think that word no is powerful.
Powerful. To save your life.
To save my life.
It will save your life. So you need to learn. There are some people that the best answer to give to them is a no. Find a very surgical way, a very neat way, a very kind way, a very polite way, give them a sweet no. Write that somewhere. Sweet no. I will learn the culture of a sweet no. Don't say, no, I cannot help you. Say, oh my dear, oh my goodness, oh no, oh wow, oh, but I can't help you now.
It's sweet no.
It's a sweet no. So learn the culture of a very sweet no.
Yeah. Okay, so this anyone is actually very sweet to me. So let culture be very sweet.
But still open your heart to other people that merit your kindness. But apply wisdom. As you grow older, you must apply wisdom and give thought to yourself. Don't disregard yourself, because you are the one doing the giving. If you have nothing else to give, they'll trash you. They'll trash you. So give thought to yourself. We're out of time. All right. So are you okay?
Thank you so much.
So I'm owing you one question, right?
Yes, number 4 question.
Yeah. So try and come back to be my host, and then I will trust God to.
Then maybe I will add other ones.
And they can add other ones. Jara, yes, I agree.
So it was nice hosting you.
Thank you. So you want to close the show? Please.
No.
Yes, thank you for being my host, and I hope to see you again. Thank you guys for joining us on this episode of Be My Host, and I'm hoping that one day you will be my host. Subscribe, like, share, and turn on your notification. Yes. Thank you. God bless you.